Yeah, I wanted to start voice training, but I didn't go to college for music production or music theory, and I just don't have the time or the energy to learn it, so... Stop! Your voice training resources are outdated. Let me tell you why. Yes, the acoustic phenomenons of voice alteration are fascinating, and they are also complex, but learning trans voice is not that broad, and it is much simpler. Let's use the culinary arts as an analog. In order to learn how to cook, do you need a master's in chemistry in order to understand the chemical makeup of every ingredient that you're about to use? Or do you need a degree in neuroscience in order to understand how the sensation of taste gets delivered from your taste buds to your brain? Or is the main prerequisite for learning how to cook to have functioning taste buds? So for trans voice training, is it more important to know how the harmonic series works, or is it more important to have functioning hearing? I know where this misconception comes from. You probably watched a trans voice lessons video from the late 2010s, saw a bunch of spectrogram mumbo jumbo and thought that voice training was way over your head. If not, that was probably the experience of the girl who gave you this misconception. This is an unfortunate byproduct of the way that YouTube's algorithm works. Older videos have more time to accumulate views, which means they get boosted to the top of search results. Not to mention, there are a buttload of voice training guides from people who are not voice teachers. The reason that this is unfortunate is because trans voice training is a novel and rapidly developing field. If you take voice lessons with a voice teacher, their teaching will have differences now than they will a year from now. Whether your teacher has been teaching for months or for years, they are trying to find out how to optimally transfer these skills to you. Frankly, teaching you voice training through the language of music production is like your personal trainer giving you an anatomy textbook to learn how to bench 225. It's just not efficient or necessary.
Editing Bay Mira here, just to tell you that a lot of this stuff is still very fun to nerd out about acoustically, especially as someone who went to music production school. But the main goal of this is just to be if you feel like that's a barrier of entry, it's not, okay? It's not. Love you.
And this is something that Z, the host of Trans Voice Lessons, knows and publicly agrees with. To give you perspective on the rate at which trans vocal pedagogy has evolved, almost all the trans voice lessons videos from the Trump administration, Z herself would consider outdated. Not wrong per se, but definitely outdated. If you're looking for a trans voice lessons video that at least I would recommend today, I would stick with videos from late 2020 to today. I actually think our videos from the past 6 months have been really useful for beginners, so I would recommend those. If you're looking for good information on TikTok or Instagram, my TikTok series, Blah Blahaj, is an ever-updating playlist of easy-to-incorporate information and practice material, which you can find at the bottom of this video. I also recommend Seattle Voice Labs. They do a ton of great work. If you've ever visited r/transvoice, you may have noticed that the top post of all time is called L's Voice Training Guide, posted about 4 years ago. My opinion about this guide is similar to my opinion about most voice training content from its era. It's got some good stuff in there. The woman who made it is very smart, and if you use it, you might see your desired results. But there are quite a few tips in there that voice teachers today tend to try their best to stay away from teaching, such as the swallow and hold method of size reduction. By the way, as a quick aside, if a voice training resource ever mentions swallowing and holding as something that will aid your voice training journey, it's kind of a telltale sign that that resource is either pretty old or that source isn't going to be very reliable. Instead, if you're on Reddit, I would recommend a lot of Selena Silva's work that gets spread around on there in audio clips, and there are plenty of people on there in the current days that are quite knowledgeable about voice training. I think that this is sort of where I will start to close things off. I hope it was clear that this is more so a video about how to find good voice training resources rather than being a good voice training resource itself. It's a video I haven't seen really done, and it's important to know sort of what the pitfalls are when it comes to finding information about voice training. You can visit my website, altimiravoicetraining.com, to find information about signing up for lessons, as well as joining my Patreon, which is $5 a month, gets you access to weekly group lessons and some private content. Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all in the new year. Bye.